Hello.
Caitlyn, thank you for joining us today.
No problem.
This is more of an introduction to our media here in Pittsburgh and some other people in the area. But obviously, Caitlyn was hired as our development coach just about a month ago officially. She participated in our camp in November back then, and I guess that's all I really have to do as far as an introduction for Caitlyn. And she's happy to be a part of the Pirate organization. I'm going to hit the record button on this.
Recording in progress.
And if there's any questions for Caitlyn, feel free to ask them right now. Thank you.
Caitlyn, let's see. It's Rich Walsh from KDK, CBS at Pittsburgh. How are you? My question to you is, what's it mean for you to be the first women's coach for the Pirates?
I'm still pinching myself kind of on a daily basis. I think it was about 2 years ago when I heard about Rachel Balkovec, and it honestly knocked my socks off. I was like, oh my gosh, this is possible. And so to hopefully be that person, that female, that strong female for girls, women in Pittsburgh as well, it's an honor, and I'm really excited to be around some really bright minds in the baseball world, and still have a lot to learn, but I'm excited to learn every single day.
Caitlyn, hi. This is Andrew Stockey from the WTAE-TV here in Pittsburgh. How are you?
Great. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm kind of curious, how did this all come about? How did this opportunity present itself? And how did you put yourself in position to be able to take advantage of it?
That's a great question. Initially, I interviewed with Mark Roche, who's I'm going to butcher his title, so please correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's the video coordinator position, video and technology coordinator position. I initially interviewed with him as a minor league ops assistant, and we ended up having almost an hour-long conversation. It didn't even feel like an interview. We were just talking about, the life of a video, everything from the life of a video and technology person to, about specific players that we had seen in the minor leagues. And it was just this really great conversation, to be quite honest with you. And the next day he called me and asked if I was willing to fly out to Florida. I was in Arizona at the time, to Florida for their hitters camp. And at the time I was working an off-season job as a server, and I was like, absolutely, like anything to do, if I can be around baseball, absolutely, I'd love to be around baseball. So then just once I was at the hitters camp, I believe it was more of a working interview to see if I was a potential fit as a coach with the organization.
Hi, Caitlyn. My name is Cody Patenko for Pittsburgh Baseball Now. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm excellent. I wish it was Friday, but, we can't have everything. My question to you is, you're now a part of such I wouldn't say small group, but a group of women now in Major League Baseball. So how does it feel to have your name with so many other names with women in baseball?
It's really empowering, and I was actually speaking on it yesterday. Not only is there this great group of women within the Pirates organization, we have Kinza Bad, Paige Mushier. There are all of these incredibly strong females within our organization. So to be a part of that, as well as, Rachel Balkovec, Alyssa Knockin, Bianca Smith, one of my mentors with the Reds, Katie Kroll, she actually was just hired as a development coach with the Red Sox earlier this month as well. So it's an honor, and I don't take it lightly by any means.
Hi, Caitlyn. Kevin Gorman from the Pittsburgh Tribune-Review. Welcome aboard here. I think it was Ben Cherington shared a story, I think it was Ben Cherington, about you kind of throwing Rabs out of the hitting cage, the batting cage, or from pitching BP. Can you kind of share what it was like to have what you called a working interview and to make that kind of a quick impression on the Pirates?
Well, just to kind of backtrack a little bit here, initially, I thought that when Mark called me, they needed someone to run a Rapsodo. They needed someone to help with video. I was more than willing to help in that department. Coaching is definitely the route I wanted to take. I just was more so, I thought that's why they were bringing me out there. Upon arrival, they have minor league ops assistants there doing that. And it kind of clicked to me like, oh, wait, this isn't a working interview. So I knew that I had to kind of show that I could contribute as a coach. And I was a little bit nervous, but it was the main field, actually. It wasn't in the cage. It was the main field. And the hitters were done, and it was the next group of hitters coming out. And Rabs, I think, was running in from the outfield. I think it was supposed to be his group. And I just went up to the mound, and I was like, you know what? This is my time. I have to show that I can contribute. I can help. Because at the end of the day, that's why I'm here. I want to help the team get better every single day, and just like Rabs. So it's funny. A lot of people have brought up that story, and at the time, I was just like, I got to prove that I can, hold my own, and I didn't even think twice about it.
Did you know when you did that you may have made an impression though? Did you get instant feedback, or did you know, like, say to yourself, like, hey, I just showed them what I can do?
I think Sean Bowman actually brought it up a few days later, and I was like, I see now how it made an impact. There were a lot of scouts there as well. And they were doing the occlusion training at the time, if I remember correctly. So they had those goggles. So you really had to be like spot on, could not miss, because those goggles, actually, they blur the vision of the hitter right before the ball gets in. So it's can't miss, like I said.
Hey, Caitlyn.
Go ahead, Alex.
Okay. Thanks, Jake. Welcome to the Pirates. When did you make the decision, or when did you think coaching was the right fit for you? Because you had plenty of other jobs in baseball. Was it in that process, or did you get into the game with this being the goal?
I think it was a combination of things. As a college softball player, I was injured the majority of my career, and that could have just been the end of it, right? But for me, that was actually kind of the catalyst that sparked looking at all the different possibilities that I could go. Like, once I was injured, it was, okay, well, what can I do in the weight room to get better, And I started picking the brain of my strength coach. And then in the training room, when I'm doing PT, like, how can I, trying to do every possible, I guess, I tried to expand my horizons as much as possible. I tried to learn as much as I could, because even though I couldn't help, my team because I was on the field because I was injured, I was trying to find a way to get back out there as soon as possible, but also help my team. So then I got interested in advanced reports, as far as, opposing teams, positive self-talk with our pitchers. I was bullpen catching a lot, so making sure our pitchers were prepared once they went out on the field. So combination of that, I always knew I wanted to work in baseball, but taking what I learned from my softball career, going into baseball, there was a player this past season at my affiliate who was coming back from a lower back injury. And all of a sudden, I'm using what I used as a player, helping him kind of gain the confidence back in his swing. Like, we're putting video up next to each other, and it was like, hold up, this is something that I can see myself really enjoying. Like, seeing that success, seeing him come back was huge for me. That's what I'm about. I want to make sure that players are, optimizing success. We're playing at our utmost potential, I guess, is what I could say.
Hey, Caitlyn, Jake Prowse of MLB.com. Nice to meet you, albeit virtually, as we've been doing with almost everyone for the past year. Do you have any guiding philosophies as a development coach? I think you've touched on some of the things you're passionate about from your other positions you've held, but in terms of this position, what kind of guides you?
I think that, and it's something that stood out to me in the hitters camp when I came to the Pirates, is everyone is different. Everyone's body is different. Everyone, has a different background, a different perspective, right? So we can't treat, there's no cookie cutter as how to treat players, how to treat staffs, coaches, etc. And so I guess the biggest thing, and it stood out to me in a big way at this Get Better at Baseball camp, was the individualized, every single player had a specific plan. It wasn't, okay, everyone, we're just going to get as many reps as we can. just having that individual connection, having this, because at the end of the day, sorry, I'm gathering my thoughts here for a moment. That individual plan and that individual connection is huge as far as individual player success. And once we get that going, then we can come together as a team and, ultimately win a World Series.
Caitlyn, well, go ahead, Rob. Okay. Hi, Caitlyn. My name is Will Graves. I work for the Associated Press here in Pittsburgh. You mentioned the goal was always to get into baseball. I'm sort of curious. I mean, the more common path for a softball player would obviously be to go into softball coaching. So sort of why did you make the decision that, hey, baseball is what I want to do? And basically, excuse me, when you said, did what you initially envision, how does that compare to what has actually happened? Because you said it sounds like you didn't think coaching was actually that was the way to get in. It sounded like you had like a different idea of what it would be if you got involved with baseball.
Definitely. So when I was growing up, obviously, you play Little League, and it was right around middle school age. Other girls weren't really playing softball in my area, and there just wasn't really a team. And so I was actually going to stop playing until my little brother's Little League coach was like, well, why doesn't she just try out for, the Little League baseball team? And so I actually stopped playing softball like right around middle school and started playing baseball. And I still have friends that are actually in minor league clubs now. Jeff Bain with the Diamondbacks, Joey Steele and I grew up together. He's with the Marlins, played Little League with them. And it just kind of sparked. That's when I really started getting excited about the game. I was starting to think about like plate approach. Like as a middle schooler, that was like really cool to me because I'm like, it's the first time I'm like, hold up, this is something that I want to do. I switched back to softball in high school and obviously played in college. But that was kind of that first time where I was like, this is more than just a game now. Like I'm actually taking time to, I started watching more MLB games. I started just getting more interested in general in baseball right around that time. And it's funny that you say, I definitely had to be completely transparent with you. I didn't think it was possible that I'd be able to be a coach. Not because I didn't think I was capable, but more so I'd never, like I said, when Balkovec, I remember where I was, even when I first saw that Balkovec got hired as a coach. Like I still remember reading, like pulling it up on my phone and reading it and like just being in like awe, like, oh my gosh, this is unreal. And it's like people like her, people like Bianca Smith, paving the way. It's empowering, and it's really cool to be a part of that.
Hey, Caitlyn, how you doing? I'm Rob Gurthofer with The Athletic here in Pittsburgh. I was wondering how you go about the process of connecting and relating with the players, not just as a woman in a male-dominated area, but just as a new coach walking into a room of faces you've never seen before.
That's a great question. I really haven't ever had a problem, but I think that might have to do with kind of growing up with it. I have a little brother, so and even just like in Little League, everyone has, like I said, a different background, a different perspective, and obviously you're able to connect with different people on different levels. But that's the beauty of like having this diversity within, our organization is, I'll be able to connect with the player differently than another coach or another staff member. And it hasn't been, I think that once I'm able to have a conversation and people are like, oh yeah, she wants to be here. And I think that's, half the battle is just, if you show that you're trying your best, you're working hard, you're actively learning every single day, players respect that, coaches respect that. And, that's something that I strive to do every day is learn something new, try my best. And as long as I'm doing that, I'm set.
Hey, Caitlyn.
Jeff
Sorry.
Hathorn. Sorry, Rich. Jeff
Yeah.
Hathorn with KDK Radio here in Pittsburgh. Welcome. What kind of impact do you think you can make as a development coach in your role in the Pirates organization?
You know, that's a great question. I hope that my different background, different perspective is able to generate new conversations that help with new ideas. I think that having the conversations I've had with Pirate staff, coaches, players have been really enlightening, and it's gotten me extremely excited to be around baseball again. And I think what the Pirates are doing is extremely unique. Just tangent real quick here. When I came out to the Get Better at Baseball camp, there's this book by Rob Gray called How We Learn to Move. And I was literally reading it on the plane on my way to Florida. And all of a sudden, I'm at the Get Better at Baseball camp, and I'm seeing multiple coaches use these coaching techniques from this book play out in front of me. And like literally in my mind while I'm reading this book on the flight, like, this is a great idea, but like, how is it going to be executed? Like it was hard for me to kind of wrap my head around how is this going to be, executed, like I said. And it's a moment that really stood out to me, but Kurt Wilson, who's also going to be in the complex league this upcoming season as a hitting coach, he was working with Abraham Gutierrez in the cage. And as soon as Abraham was getting comfortable with this drill, he was changing the environment, keeping it game-like, right? And I was talking to Bart at the time, and Bart could see that I was looking over at that cage, like, obviously very impressed, curious. And it's moments like those. And same thing happened when I was watching Jim Horner work with Sammy Siani, and, this very individualized coaching approach, using these coaching techniques, seeing that played out in front of me, like what the Pirates are doing at like this, it's going to be I'm excited to be a part of it, because this is something I've never seen before. And it's being executed well by people who care. And it's really, really unique. It's really special. And I'm excited just to be a part of that. I'm going to take it day by day. I don't know what type of impact I'm going to make, but I know that it's not just going to be me. It's going to be this team, this support staff, the coaches, the players. Like every single person like I said, it's special, and I'm excited to see how it plays out.
Caitlyn, will you spend any time in Pittsburgh, and what's your ultimate goal? Would you want to get to the Pirates big league at one point?
So I will not be spending any time in Pittsburgh this year. I think ultimately my biggest goal, hands down, I want to win a World Series in the next 5 years. I don't know how that's going to happen right now, right? But I know that I'm going to show up every single day, just like all of the other coaches and the staff. Just like my last answer, like my goals are, like I said, I want to be a part of this organization for the long haul, and I want to win a World Series. So whether that be, like I said, coming in every single day, working hard, it changes, right? Things change over a period of time. And so I don't know the route that it's going to be, but I know that day in, day out, we're going to try our best. Learn new things, try new things, whatever we can do to get better.
Caitlyn, you mentioned the Dan Gray book. What else have you been reading that has maybe resonated with you lately?
Oh, the Rob Gray book.
Rob Gray, I'm sorry. I said Dan.
No, you're
I was
totally
thinking
fine.
I had Dan Hart on the brain.
Rob Gray. Right now, well, I also listen to his Perception Action podcast. I've been studying for my CSCS, so a lot of my nonfiction reading has been more so just studying that textbook. It is dense with information. I'm hoping a lot of our front office, John Baker was actually saying he took this Franz Bosch movement course. That's something I'm really excited to dive into in the next few months. nonfiction or fiction wise, I've been reading Midnight Library. That's an interesting book, but just keeping it light.
Hi, Caitlyn. I'm Tia. I'm with the City Paper. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
My question is, what has your experience been like so far as a woman working in sports, and how has this opportunity added to that?
So far, I've really, really enjoyed my time in professional baseball. I think back fondly on this past season. I was with the Cincinnati Reds AA affiliate, the Chattanooga Lookouts, and I believe I was the first female that was traveling in that league. So, definitely had some hiccups for sure. I felt bad for all the clubbies who just had visiting clubbies that had no idea I was coming, because they were already dealing with this, that, and the other thing. And then to have me thrown into the mix, oof, I felt bad. But everyone was really kind. And it was honestly, the beauty of that whole experience was I got to experience that minor league grind that they talk about firsthand, traveling on the bus, spreads, all of that stuff. And I've loved every minute of it. I had never been to Alabama, Mississippi, that area of the country before. And living in Chattanooga for 7 months was awesome. So I'm excited for what this opportunity brings as well. My big philosophy is I want to learn. I want to learn as much as I can. I'm willing to do anything to help my team, whether it, be going in. As my very first job in baseball, I was an intern, a minor league scout liaison in the Cape League. And that job, I was doing everything from making sure players had pants that fit to picking up coffees for the coaches. And to be completely honest, if the Pirates need me to do that, I would do it. Whatever I need to do to help the team, I'm willing to do it. And I'm excited to be a part of something so special, like I said.
Caitlyn, last question here for you. Speaking to other women trying to break into the industry, what would you say, what would be a message that you would give to them to try and, pursue their dreams, I guess you could say? Thank you.
It's a great question. Honestly, I think the common theme is roll with the punches. Things are not going to work out the first time, right? But you just got to keep rolling with it. You got to recognize that if you are working hard, if you're trying your best, if you're actively pursuing opportunities, learning new things, you just got to keep at it. You can't give up. That persistence, I think, is the key here. I actually I applied to a coaching position last year, and I didn't even get an interview for a professional team. And it was tough. I'm not going to lie. It was tough. And you can get discouraged, but it's absolutely not. I may not have gotten that coaching position last year, but I got a different job, or I was back with the Reds, right? And I did that job to the best of my abilities. I showed up every single day. I tried my best, and it set me up to be in the position I'm at this year. Things happen for a reason. We just got to keep at it. Can't give up. Stay persistent.
Anything else for Caitlyn? Okay, Caitlyn, thank you very good.
Hold on. One more, Jimmy. I wanted to follow up.
Go ahead.
Caitlyn, you mentioned earlier you knew exactly where you were when you got the first news that women had broken into coaching. Where are you seeing it on your phone? Where were you?
I believe. Well, here's the thing. I think I was honestly in a Starbucks. I'm a big Starbucks drinker. But it's honestly the feeling, that feeling of just honestly, it felt like I don't know if you played, but if you've ever been in one of those playoff situations where you're that batter up and there's someone on second, that excitement, that ready to go. I want to be in the box. That was what it felt like. Just being so excited to see that, gives me chills a little bit, because honestly, empowering, I guess.
Kayla, I have one other one as well. Do you get that same reaction from the people you're working with? Like they're excited to pick your brain and see what you think about different things?
Yeah, I actually had a conversation. I've talked to Jim Horner, Mark Roche, Connor Rivers. There are just so many bright minds in this organization. And earlier today, I was actually talking to Brady Conlon. And honestly, what stands out so much to me, and it sounds silly, but it's how much everyone cares. And I know that seems like very like, okay, well, so what? But it's like that care, like when I was flown out for that Get Better at Baseball camp in November, it stood out to me more than anything. The fact that everyone was there, they wanted to be there. They were actively learning every single day. I wanted to be a part of it. I was bought in, and they're bought in. The players are bought in. These showing how much they care. It's, sometimes people get complacent, especially baseball is a long season. It's a long season. And the Pirates are as far from complacent. Everyone is actively learning, actively trying to get better in every component of their lives, whether it be off the field, on the field. Everyone's trying to be the best version. And you surround yourself with those people. You want to be around people like that because they motivate you to be better. And like I said, that's the organization I wanted to be a part of.
All good? Anybody else? Okay. Caitlyn, again, thank you for joining us, and thank you for taking the time out.
No problem. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Caitlyn.